So I'm aware there's this video that's been going around for a little bit now about Arnold Schwarzenegger having a cigar that was dipped in tequila. And plenty of people have come out and replicated this tactic. And I said that it actually helps with the overall sweetness of the cigar. I'm skeptical. I don't know if it's an actual thing. It just kind of seems gimmicky. But we're going to go ahead and try it. But we're also going to take it up a notch. I have here a standard generic tequila that we're going to use to paste with this nice little cigar, or this nice little cedar strip, this factory throwout. We're not going to use a nice cigar on this. We're going to use some garbage cigars. But after that, I have some other pairings that I want to try. We have a rum. We have some gin. We have some bourbon. We have just generic cold brew coffee, and just because I had it, a Coke. We're gonna paint each cigar with each different pairing, and we're gonna test it out, and we're gonna see which one's the best. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start with the Altos tequila. Like I said, I have 6 different factory throwout cigars. 6 different cedar strips, just so we can keep some continuity and we're not spreading flavors. We're going to start with the tequila. All right, first step, we're going to paint the cigar with the tequila. I don't know what this actually does. Like I said, to me, it just kind of seems gimmicky. I can't imagine it imparts too much flavor. Now, allegedly, 60 to 70% of the cigar's flavor does come from the wrapper. Okay, painted this cigar with the tequila. Now we roll it. I think that's just to help get some of the excess off. Now we're going to cut it and light it. Okay. I'll say first little bit, I don't really pick up any tequila. None at all. We're gonna try this just a few more seconds, and then we're gonna dip the tip of the cigar into the tequila and try that way. I mean, I keep wanting to think that I'm picking up little hints of it, but I don't think I actually am. I think it's kind of a placebo effect. Yeah, no tequila. All right, so now we're gonna dip the end of the cigar into the tequila, and we're gonna try that. I don't think it changes the flavor too much. I mean, like, as soon as you put it in your mouth, obviously you get that hit of tequila. But you do almost get a weird menthol effect. It's very slight. You wouldn't really notice too much, but yeah, interesting. It doesn't really change the flavor for me. Maybe a slight addition to sweetness. But what it does is it completely saturates the cap of the cigar, and it's really hard to draw now. So, all right, tequila done. Let's move on to rum. This is Diplomatico. It's a sipping rum. I honestly don't even know why I have this because I don't usually drink rum. But I know rum is huge in Cuba. So I feel like this would be a pretty good pairing. All right, again, first step, new piece of cedar, dip it in the rum, and paint the cigar. All right, cigar's pretty well painted with this rum. Let's give it a cut and a light. Again, no real difference in flavor compared to the tequila one. I'm fairly certain painting the outside of the cigar does nothing. It does have a different smell, but it doesn't change the aroma of the cigar too much. Because I'm pretty sure it's just not enough to affect the actual flavor. But let's go ahead and dip the end into the rum. And let's give that a shot. I actually like that better than the tequila, just because the rum is a little sweeter. But again, it doesn't really change the flavor of the cigar itself all that much. You're just getting a tiny little bit of rum on the tongue. But I don't know if it's sustainable throughout the cigar. I figure as the rum kind of dries out on the tip, eventually you're just going to run out of that. Okay, rum, better than the tequila. Still doesn't blow me away. All right, let's try gin. This is an Irish gin, one of my favorite drinks. I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little bit of gin into here. New cigar, new piece of cedar. Again, we're gonna paint it, even though the painting I don't feel like actually does anything, but just for continuity's sake, we're gonna continue painting every single one of these. Okay, cigar sufficiently painted with gin. We're gonna give it a cut, give it a light. That was a bad cut. Better. Give it a cut, give it a light. No flavor change at all. Like none. All right, now we're gonna dip the cap into the gin. That's my favorite. Oh, that hit of juniper and a little bit of botanical flavor. But again, it's just because I just dipped the tip and I had it on my tongue.
That's what she said.
This one does have a little more of that menthol effect that the rum did not have as much. The tequila did have. It's like a slight cooling effect. I don't know. It doesn't change the flavor all that much, but this one definitely is sweeter. And it's not like a really in-your-face sweetness. It's subtly sweet. That's actually pretty good. And I don't typically like these factory throwouts, but I genuinely think the gin enhanced it a little bit. I don't think it's enough to be, a measurable effect. I don't think it's something that will take a bad cigar and all of a sudden make a great cigar. It's still not the best cigar I've ever had, but it does change it just enough to kind of make it interesting. But after that, fourth or fifth puff, it kind of loses a little bit of that. So I feel like that's something where you would have to continually dip. Next, Woodford Reserve. This is the last spirit that we have. After this is just a soft drink and some cold brew coffee. But Woodford, everybody loves a good Woodford Reserve. It pairs really well with cigars. Let's go ahead and give this one a shot. Now, I will say there is a cigar lounge that I frequent that has a cigar that they have painted a bourbon flavoring on, and they just painted on the wrapper. But it's a phenomenal cigar. It's it's cheap. It's nothing outstanding. I think it's like a $5 cigar, and they burn really quick. I think they're just a short filler, almost like a Swisher Sweet. But the bourbon flavor on it is phenomenal. So I'm excited to see if this Woodford Reserve does something similar with painting that flavor on. Again, I don't have high hopes because so far painting I feel like hasn't really affected the flavor at all. Dipping the end of the cigar into the bourbon has to an extent, but I feel like it's very limited. Again, I could be totally wrong. My palate's not the most refined, but we're going to continue on. This cigar is officially covered in Woodford Reserve. We're going to give it a cut, go to lights, and see how this one compares. Smoking or toasting this one, I can actually see smoke along the shafts by doing that. Almost like the alcohol is combusting as I light the cigar. Now, I could be wrong, but this one is a little more oaky and not as sweet. Going from the gin to the bourbon, there is a noticeable difference. Not in the cigar itself, but maybe it's the aroma that it's putting off. I think that's exactly what it is. The aroma is definitely different, and it does affect the taste just enough to be slightly noticeable. But it's not like if I gave you the gin painted one and the bourbon painted one that you could convince me they were different cigars. Still, obviously, the same cigar, but it does taste just a little more different. We're going to go ahead and dip into the bourbon. delicious. Just getting that little bit of bourbon on the tongue. Whoa. This one had more of that menthol cooling effect than any of the other ones. Even on the third puff where it was starting to wane on the other ones, this one definitely has more of that effect. That's bizarre. That's so crazy. Again, the flavor, very minor difference. But this one is less sweet, a little more woody, oaky. And fifth, sixth puff in, that menthol effect is still there. I don't know if I left it in the bourbon longer than I left the other ones. I'm honestly, I'm not sure. But okay. So far, the gin has the best flavor. The Woodford Reserve bourbon has the most noticeable effect. All right, next one, we're gonna try cold brew coffee. I love a good cup of coffee with a cigar. I don't know how that's gonna translate to painting it on and dipping it, but I'm curious. Let's go ahead and new piece of cedar, little bit of coffee, brand new factory throw out, and let's start painting. So this is interesting. I don't think the coffee penetrated the tobacco leaf as much as the whiskey or the alcohol did. I had a harder time painting it on, and I'm not sure why that is, but it's painted, or it's cut. Let's light it and see if coffee actually changes anything. Nothing. Exact same as the others. Not a lot of flavor change. I was honestly concerned about painting this on because the alcohol is at least combustible. I feel like if anything, this is probably going to contribute to a more of an uneven smoke, which you can tell it already is. And I'm curious how it's going to affect the draw whenever I dip it. But here we go. Cigar and the coffee. Nothing. Not a single noticeable change. The only thing different is it's like you just handed your cigar to your friend who's never smoked a cigar and they saturated the hell out of the tip. No flavor change at all. Coffee so far, worst one we have done. Very last one, and I don't know why we're doing this one. Like I said, I opened a Coke Zero earlier. We're gonna give it a shot. I wonder if the carbonation will change anything. I'm just gonna skip painting this one. I think we've officially determined painting this cigar does nothing, at least for the flavor. We're just gonna light it, dip it, see what happens. All right. Standard factory throw out, dipped in Coca Cola. It's not bad. Definitely sweeter. I don't think it's as sweet as the rum. but comparable. I'd say this is the closest to the rum than any of the others. I'm not getting that menthol effect at all. It's just, it's kind of disappointing, honestly. But there we go. That's little factory throwouts in Coca Cola. Not that I would recommend that to anybody ever. But there we go. That is that's the test. We're done. We've moved on. Now I have 6 different shots that I can do. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. If you are going to go around dipping your cigars in different spirits, not necessarily something I would recommend. It doesn't change the flavor all that much. However, rum, definitely the sweetest. Gin, by far the best one, just from that little hit of gin, that little bit of juniper, played really well with the earthiness of the cigar. The Woodford did kind of have that toasty oakiness to it. Coffee, garbage. Coke, nothing. Tequila, just kind of a menthol effect. So there you go. Feel free to test it out yourself. Maybe my palate is just garbage. It's totally possible. But there we go. 6 different cigars tested in 6 different mediums. All tested pretty much the same way, aside from the Coca Cola. There's no clear winner. There is a clear loser, and that's me for actually trying this experiment. So thank you for watching. Much appreciated. Have fun. Go ahead and dip your cigars in whatever you want. See you on the next one.